Okay, so I am with Shain Honkonen.
Hi, it's
Honkonen. Honkonen. I'm so sorry,
It's okay.
Honkonen.
I'm used to it.
Okay, Shain Honkonen. And he plays with the band ViliFi,
Yes.
and he also works for Classic Albums Live. How long have you been working with Classic Albums?
Since I was 17, so I guess about like 6 years, 6 or 7 maybe, like, because I don't know the exact time, but sometime when I was 17 I started with them.
Did you audition?
Yeah, I made a video online, and at first I emailed them like crazy for months, and then eventually made a video on YouTube and sent that to them, and I don't even think it was very good, like, in retrospect, but it was good enough. And so, you know, I guess it was really for my age it was okay, and so, you know, you obviously develop since then, and I've learned a lot from playing with them.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What bands do you play for, like, for Classic Albums? Like, do you play all the Beatles or, like, Led Zeppelin?
I've done a lot of things. It's really just, like, because they're all based out of Canada, so it's kind of like whenever they're bringing people in, they use whoever's closest, like, for whatever they're doing. So that being said, I've done like Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses and The Who and the Beatles and Queen and Fleetwood Mac and probably a couple more that I just can't recall. But and then with each of those bands you do different albums from each band, so like a lot of different albums from each band, and it makes you listen to music that you wouldn't normally give a chance sometimes. Like, I wouldn't normally listen to a lot of Fleetwood Mac, but
yeah.
I had to, and then now I like them.
Yeah, their guitarists.
Now I like a lot of them. I don't like all of them. There's still some songs I can't stand.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So with ViliFi, what inspires your music?
I'd say, like, I guess a lot of it has to do with, like, I kind of look at any subject that I feel like I have a lot of things to say about it. Like, anything I could debate with someone or, like, get in a long conversation with someone, and that'll be something that I'll write a song about, and because you don't really feel like you run out of things to say. And I try to suggest things more than just, like, actually spell things out, because I think that's more, like, unique, and people can take that way, like, someone can listen to it and take something out of it, and someone else can listen to it and take something else out of it, you know. So
yeah.
Instead of just spelling it out and be like, this is what this song's about, like, this girl broke up with me and now I hate her, like, something like that. And I have a few songs, like, when I was younger that are just about that. Like,
yeah.
I have a few songs that are just, like, angry breakup songs, but I think everyone that writes music goes through that phase. Like, most people's first songs are, like, romance kind of things, like relationship stuff, and so I had to get that out of the way.
Are any of your first songs like that on the album?
I've probably got a good couple of them that are either about, like, being angry with someone or about, like, being hurt by someone or something like that. And so, you know, and I wrote a lot of those songs when I was younger, so, like, probably when I was around, like, 18 or 19, and so I had to get that out of the way, I feel like, because, like, it was, like, a lot of times when I write songs, it's for, like, a kind of way to get over something, you know.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those are for that. And now whenever I write newer stuff, it's really more about, like, whatever issues and topics I feel really strongly about. And some songs I don't even know what they're about. Like, that just happens sometimes. But
yeah.
Most of them you can usually relate it to something.
Do you write all your own music?
Yes.
Yes. What genre would you classify your music as?
I usually just say good.
Good.
Because I like so many. I feel like I have a lot of different things that I like to do, and I haven't even done everything that I'd like to do yet, and I'm always trying to push it a little bit. But generally around the same kind of, like, loud guitars. And so when you say, like, alternative, I think that covers a lot of things. So I usually just say that for the sake of not being stuck with something, because if you say you're a rock band, then people think you're just doing rock, and
yeah.
If you say that you're mellow, people think you're not doing rock. So alternative could be anything. So I usually just stick with that.
How long have you been playing guitar?
For about 8 years now, I guess. Yeah.
Did you grow up in Florida?
Yes, I grew up in Merritt Island, which is right next to Cocoa Beach.
Did it influence your music a lot?
When I first started playing, it was nothing but, like, classic rock, and then I went through a phase where I was listening to tons of reggae and, like, Sublime and stuff, because it was new to me, and I still really like all that stuff, but I probably won't be an element that I'll continue with in my stuff. But, you know, like, we have, like, 1 or 2 older songs that are reggae-ish, and we still we'll touch upon it sometimes, but never like straight reggae. Like that's just not something that I think we would do. But we always try to have elements of whatever. I just write what I like, you know, so I don't care. Like, it's not like I'm going to write something and be like, wait, this is reggae and I'm a rock person, you know? Like, I just write. So.
Do you plan to make music part of your life for as long as you can?
Yeah. I'd like to have it be my main job forever, and at least until I can't do it anymore. And, I mean, I want to have kids one day and all of that, but I would like to do it after I got to a place that I'd like to be with my music, but it's its own backup plan, because if it doesn't work out and I have to get like some boring normal job, I can always do like acoustic gigs around town like I do now, and it's still an outlet to play music, even if it's for like people that don't really listen, and gotta play songs that I don't really like for like some drunk people sometimes, and not all the time, but some, like I've definitely had my fair share of times where it's like you're out there giving it your all and nobody's really listening, and then like someone will come up and be like, "Yeah, that was alright, but do you know any Skinner?" And then you're just like, I mean, I do, and I love learning Skinner, but just people want to hear the same stuff all the time, so you gotta, but you have to please them, because that's the only way they're gonna have you back. So, but that's, I mean, it's still fun, and it's better than washing dishes.
Yeah. Do you play a lot of bar venues, or what type of venues do you play?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I do.
Pretty much all bar venues.
So, I mean, I do this, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do this, and it's awesome to be up there playing with all these awesome musicians, and I've learned a lot from them, so much from them, like everything that has to do with like being a good guitar player and getting a good sound, I've learned from them pretty much. And that being said, like it's really cool to be up there with everyone and doing it, but at the same time, when you're done, it's a little bit of a hollow feeling sometimes, because like, yeah, there's a lot of people and they're all cheering or whatever, but you're playing someone else's music still. So like, it's still awesome, and I don't want to sound like I'm not grateful for it, but at the same time, like, I'd rather have a room full of like 50 people that were cheering for something I wrote than a big theater full of people cheering for something else. That's, you know, so.
With that, what would you say your favorite band of all time is?
That's a really hard question, but actually that one's not hard. It's the Beatles.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Me too.
Because every band that I like is traced back to the Beatles. They're like the godfathers of everything.
Yes,
so.
Definitely.
And like, I'm not saying everyone has to like the Beatles, but if someone doesn't respect the Beatles, then I don't really respect them as a musician usually, because there's so many people that are just like, oh, Beatles, that old shit, like, turn it off or whatever. And I just, like, whatever music they listen to wouldn't be the way it is without the Beatles, and that's pretty much, I mean, not every artist or every genre, but for the most part, they paved the way in so many ways for everyone.
Definitely.
Like, even if it's just for their recording purposes, because everyone records.
Yeah. And
they made innovations with that.
They had such a unique way of recording with George Martin and everything.
He was like the fifth Beatle.
Yeah, definitely. So would you, if you could, would you play with John Lennon and George Harrison?
Yeah, of
definitely.
Course. I think anyone would do that.
What other artists would you like to play to or with if they were alive or dead?
Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, it'd be intimidating, obviously.
Definitely.
But like,
if you could just like jam with them.
Yeah, or just hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and there's got to be others. Those are the first two that really come to my mind, and without a doubt, I'd like to hang out with Jim Morrison, but he's not a guitar player.
Yeah,
still,
but
yeah.
So would you say they were all your influences growing up?
Oh yeah. Like the first guitar, if I had to choose like my first people that I saw playing guitar where I was just like, that's what I want to do, like one of the first absolute ones was Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, I'm not sure if he really played that or not. I've heard different things about whether he did, but either way, he made it look awesome.
He did. It was great.
So him and David Gilmour from Pink Floyd was like the first real guitar player that I was ever like in awe of. And then Eddie Van Halen and Joe Perry from Aerosmith and Jimmy Page and just Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, all of them, like all the same things that any good guitar player would say.
Yeah.
So, and I really like all the like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, John Petrucci, all the like really technical shredder guys.
Yeah.
I love those guys too.
Do you use a lot of pedals?
I use a fair amount. Like everyone, you're always switching them out and experimenting with stuff. I mean, I used to be against effects, but it's can really help like color your sound and make it vibrant and not just plain. But right now I don't really have a lot that I use live. It's just kind of stuff to make the sound that I already have sound better. But in the studio and stuff, that's when I think effects and stuff like that are a lot more important, because when you're playing it live, you don't have to worry about recreating every little nuance. But
yeah.
in the studio, that's when you really need to have the different things going on. So.
How many guitars do you own?
I'm just gonna say somewhere in the ballpark of like 8 or 10.
Wow.
That's not really that much, because like if you talk to these Cocozziello live guys, they've
like,
each got like 20.
Yeah.
If that, like maybe more. And so it's really not. And out of those, like I've got at least 3 or 4 guitars that are not that good. Like I don't even play a lot of them, because some of them are like $200 or $300 guitars, or one of them's like a $75 guitar from Target or something, just to have. And so even if I have like 8 or 10 guitars, I really only play like 2 or 3.
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, that's my Paul Reed Smith. It's the one I pretty much always play. I got it when I was like, I think around 17 also, about the same time I started with Cocozziello Live. And I worked at my local guitar shop at Island Music in Merritt Island. And I worked there for like 3 months, and that was pretty much my paycheck for working, but it was totally worth it. So.
Yeah.